First, before I start this video, I would like to say this video is going to start in the same spot in about 10 seconds. But I need you to wait till the end of the video so I can explain why when this video starts, you won't see the AMG, but you see it here again. Wait till the end of the video and I can explain a little bit better. Now, enjoy this video. Having an amazing day. Yes, I start the video off with positivity. What's the dealio, Martilio? It's your boy, joshsaintt, and I'm coming to y'all with another banger video. And look what we have. Hey, where's the AMG? Watch the last video if you haven't already. And right now we are heading to the Marconi Museum. Oh, little cracks, Enstrada, normal mode, race car, pull in. Oh, snap. I see the hurricane right there. We have made it to the Marconi Museum, and today we are doing a video with the F40 right here. Literally have everything opened up. So we're gonna explain this to you guys because I do notice, you guys notice I read the comments, right? So I read the comments and there's not a lot of people you guys like educating you, but people you do like educating you, for some reason you guys go crazy for is John. So here we are, John Marconi here. You like that?
Josh, good morning, bud. How are you?
Good morning. Good, living life as always.
That's the way it should be. A little bit about what's going Josh, I'm sorry, dude. Well, a lot of your people that are following you want to know a little bit more about the depth of the car. So I figured what we'd do is we'd open up the clamshells, take a look at the car, kind of walk through what's going on, and get an idea of really how crude the F40 is compared to the F50. The F50 is an elegant gazelle. This is more of a brute. You know, it was a race car, and that's what Enzo. This is the last car that Enzo had influence on before he passed away. So, I mean, it's one of those iconic cars. Obviously, it's not worth as much as the 50, but if you ever do a survey, I've watched one of your surveys, which one do you like best? It's always 60% the 40.
Yeah, fact.
So it is what it is. A little bit about the 40. It was built as a race car. They race the cars, and you know, there's the LM versions and all the other stuff on it. It is a hand-built car. You can see just the welds and everything else on here. It's a very crude car. The only upgrade we did to the car is we put Olin shocks on it it had a hydraulic lift suspension. It came out of Britain, and there's a lot of potholes and nasty stuff, so you'd hit the button and the whole car would raise up. The problem is it was a hydraulic lift. Eventually they would lock up, and they had little reservoirs on it. The reservoirs would be 50% air, 50% water, or fluid. What happens is the bladders would break in and they would fill up totally, and then the whole car went rigid, so it was hydraulically locked up. So we pulled all that suspension off. We then put the Olin shocks on it. Vince just got finished with it. Went completely through the car. We rebuilt the headlight assemblies because the buckets were falling apart. They're fiberglass, and the car is so crude underneath that people don't understand. When the headlight buckets go in, they take it in bent metal and they roughed up the metal, and then they fiberglassed them to the side of the buckets, okay, and cut a slot in them, and they'd space the lights with washers. There was no adjustment on it, so it was all washers and old school race car stuff that you did to it. So when you peel the skin off the thing, it is actually a very crude car.
Yeah.
So a little bit about it. It's got a 2.8 liter in it. Basically, it was like the 328 motor that came. There was the 308, and then it went to the 328. It's very similar to that. There's been a lot of upgrades on it. It's got the bitchin' rods in it. It's got the good springs and all the stuff, and Ford's pistons. So it's had a lot of work done. It puts out, this one probably puts out about 500 horse. So you can get an idea of just looking at the suspension and the wishbones. I mean, the welds on it and everything else. It's a very crude car, and that's just the way they were. I call it, and forgive me for any of the women who are watching this, but I call it a man's car. And the reason I call it that is the clutch, or a woman that's a tough gal that drives race cars. But the clutch is so heavy to be able to lash 400 horse. The dual clutch technology wasn't there, where you could put dual clutches on it and you could back the springs off. So with the heavy clutch in it, you know, that's the only way you could lash the differential or the transmission to the motor, because it was just, you know, you had to have that pressure on there to keep it from slipping. So the car is a combination of fiberglass and carbon fiber. Basically, the frame is an all steel frame, light tubular frame, and they've wrapped it in fiberglass and carbon fiber. Some of the struts in here, and you can see there's carbon fiber in the doors, there's carbon fiber in some of the structural struts, but it still has a basic steel frame. You go to the back and you take a look at this, and Ferrari in its day, I mean, obviously they were the zenith and the top of the heap, but if they wanted to stiffen this car up and stiffen the chassis, they just walked in, welded a clevis there, and put a strut bar in there and said, okay, it's stiffened up. I mean, that's how Ferrari did it. They said, oh, well, we're getting too much flex out of it, and they would put it on. This was not computer design. This was designed, you know, by sketching it out on a sheet, and they put it together. Now, recently, what we've done is going completely through it. We pulled the cams out, and you can take a look at our Instagram on the Marconi Automotive Museum. You can see the cams coming out. Vince put the cams back in, and when the cams come out, it's not like adjusting a rocker arm on a solid lifter motor like the technology we have in some of the muscle cars in here. What it is there's individual shim plates or discs, pucks they call them, and the cam runs on top of the puck, so there's no rocker arm, so hence the word overhead cam. So it's got dual overhead cams. So it's got 16 of these pucks per side. So consequently what happens is you take the valve cover off, you then take a feeler gauge and you check the wear. And what you do is then you mark that wear on a sheet of paper. So you pull the cams back out, and then you get the appropriate shim plates to compensate for the wear and put thicker shim plates in it because the cams wear over time. So consequently, you have to do that all the way across the board to get the cams set back up. So put that, and you can put new cam belts in it because the belts, Ferrari had a very interesting sense of humor. On the Montezemolo or wedge body cars, we call them, you have to pull the damn motor out of it every, ready for this, 6 years.
Dang.
Or 19,000 miles. And on a regular, like a 355 or the 348, that's a $10,000 hickey every time you do that. So they had a real sense of humor. The reason you do that is those cam belts they're not chain-driven cams. So if those cam belts, those cogs have a tendency to rot over time. You know, with our atmosphere and everything else going on, those cam cogs strip off. All of a sudden, Mr. Valve meets Mr. Piston at a very high rate of speed, and it blows the whole motor up. So that's why they're so cautious about that. That, and you have to replace the idler pulleys and all the other things, or the tension pulleys. So we pulled the cam out of it, the cams out of it, all four. Vince went completely through it. And then what happened is we lost a turbo seal on the right-hand side. This car's only got 4,000 miles on it. Unless you drive it, you lose it. So you got to use it, otherwise you lose it. You got to use these cars and keep them lubricated. So the cam, or the turbos, they run at about 150,000 RPMs when you're spooled up. So they're really moving fast. If there's any wobble in that bearing, what happens is the seal goes out immediately and it starts pumping oil out the back exhaust. It just starts sucking oil. It just does. Because that's part of the cooling package, the oil cooling and lubrication. So what we did is Vince pulled the turbos out. The Ferrari, if you send them out to Ferrari, they're about $15,000 a piece to have rebuilt. And they turns out they send them to Japan. Well, we figured out that the turbos in the 488 Ferrari are same as the turbos that they're putting in the WRX Tsubis. So they're Japanese turbo. And Ferrari has always used Japanese turbos because they don't have the turbo technology like the Japanese do. So consequently, we took these turbos, we had them remachined and gutted and put the 488, which is basically a Tsubi turbo, the guts in it. So it's got the new turbine in it. So instead of costing, you know, 14 or 14.8 a piece to have them rebuilt, we did it for $4,500.
That's heat.
So for both turbos.
That's heat.
So anyway, the only difference is we had to replumb the water that goes into the turbos. Instead of going in both one side, we had to go around the other side. So what happens is we built some little plumbing for that. But if you take a look down here in the turbos, here's all the new turbos. Here's the exit. This is where the oil comes in. And on the other side, down here below, which you can't see, is where the water goes in and the water goes back out for liquid cooling. So we redid all the turbos. And then what happened is they're so efficient, we need to make about 14 and a half, 15 pounds a boost. They were making almost 22 pounds a boost. So what we did is because the spring technology in the pop-off valve, you can't just go out and buy springs at different load rates. So what we did is we took a look and ran the calculations. Vince picked up on it that what we did is this 10 millimeter spacer in here, it was basically a ½ inch. So we moved it back a ½ inch and backed off the spring. So consequently, what happens is right now we're down 14 and a half, 15 pounds boost. So we're right where we're supposed to be in the sweet spot. And when we drive it today, you'll feel it nose over as it's starting to bleed the cold air off. So it works perfect. It's got all the comp exhausts on it. So we put all the stuff, got the cooler on it, which came factory. That's a trans cooler, and this is an oil cooler on this side. Like I said, it's got the Olin. These are double adjustable rebound and compression shocks. Everything has been gone through, new hoses, new stuff. We went through everything and replumbed all the car to make sure it's safe. Because at this age, you don't want issues happening.
Facts.
You know, issues happen fast. You get some fuel puking on a hot turbo and you got yourself a problem.
Oh, yeah, that sounds bad.
I mean, that is some of the things we've done to the car and to bring it back. And basically, it's not restoration, it's preservation. So these are the maintenance that you need to do on these cars, and you need to drive them.
Yeah.
So that is the way of it. The only difference between this and the race cars, they did some upgrades to the brakes, and what they did is they put a cage in it, a full cage in it, and then they put some ground effects on it. They put the taller wing and the canards and stuff on the front and the splitter on the front, and they went out and raced the car. But this is the last car that Ferrari, really, old man Ferrari really had any influences, was the F40, and the F40 was the 40th anniversary of Ferrari. And then came the 50, which you already drove in, and the 50 comes up after that. So that was 10 years later. Here's the interesting part. The interesting part is, you know, with your cell phone goes defunct, okay, within 6 months it's out of date. That's how rapid it comes. Mm-hmm. Well, there's a 10-year spread between the 40 and the 50. So you'd figure the 50 would be way faster.
Yeah, right.
It wasn't. At Ferrano, which is this test track behind the factory in Italy, which I've been on with it when we won the challenge, it was a second and a half slower. So Ferrari, the rumor is Ferrari would make you sign a waiver that you would, or a guarantee that you would not let the road and track or car and driver test both cars back to back together, because this car was significantly faster than the F50, which shouldn't be, but it was.
Right.
So anyway, that's just kind of a brief on the car and what we've done, what we're doing, and then you and I will just, you want to take it out for a little spin?
Yeah, I'm ready.
See what goes on?
I'm ready.
All right,
this is literally a classic right here. Ferrari F40, maybe the most classic Ferrari that you would like literally ever see, hear of. Crazy. And it's just crazy because I never seen it with the hood up, and it's just like bare, like nothing.
And it didn't come with a spare tire. The spare tire you had to order separate if you wanted a spare tire in it. And you could put a full size, but it was a space saver, basically the same diameter, and it had a big nut wrench on it. You can see that's a single nut on the front.
Yep.
There isn't 5 bolts on it or 5 nuts on it. That's a single nut on it. So you had to have a lead hammer. You had to have this wheel that would go on it. You'd pull the pin, put the hammer on it, or put the deal on it. There's a wrench that goes on it, and then you smack the wrench, a lead wrench or lead hammer with the wrench, and off it come. Now, theoretically, off it come. Sometimes you got to beat on these things pretty heavy to get them off. And they turn the opposite way. So the rights turn forward, the backs turn backward.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, yeah. That sounds crazy. I feel like every race car you have to beat on.
The specs on the car, real quick, it makes this one with the new turbos, the higher efficiency, makes about 500 horse. And the car weighs 2,800 pounds.
Jesus.
So, I mean, yeah, the power to weight ratio on this car is extremely quick. And the Ferrano track, where they tested the 2 cars, is a very short, what we call a short wheelbase track. In other words, it's got really tight turns in it. It's got a lot of transitional turns. So these things have a tendency, a short wheelbase car with the proper horsepower will definitely win over a long wheelbase car with a little less power. Actually, the 50 has more power by about 50 horsepower. But this thing is so quick on the transition. One thing you will definitely see is when those turbos pick up, it's not like the turbos we have today that are all managed electronically. These things are rudimentary. So what happens is when you feel the turbo kick on, you'll definitely know it. At about 3,800, 3,600, the turbos come on. It's like the old Porsche, what was it, the 911 turbos called the Widowmakers. When that turbo, big old turbo kicked on, you knew it. I mean, it was, the ass end was coming around if you didn't keep it straight. So.
That's heat. That's heat. I'm so excited, dude. I love older cars like this because they're so much more raw than cars today. That's heat. Look at this tub you have to like climb over to get in. Wow. This crazy sit-in here.
Yeah, it's tight. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not, you look at your Lambo, and the Lambo is like a gymnasium. You can play basketball in it compared to this.
Facts.
This
is.
And you're a small guy, my tubby fat ass in this thing, it's it's a tight fit.
Yeah.
And being short, Italian and being short, it was perfect for driving race cars.
Facts.
Spent about 15 minutes getting some temperature in the car. A little different than what you're used to.
Yeah. It feels so much more raw. Just like you can just hear it.
It is. It's raw. Raw is the perfect description for this car. Vince did an amazing job on the turbos and getting everything synced up. It's millivolts that control the butterflies and syncing of both the right and left-hand computer, because half the cars run on a computer and the other half's run on a different computer. So it's not a single unit. So like the new ones today, everything's on a single unit.
Yeah.
Ferrari believed that they wanted to have both halves of the car split. So it was one of those things that you have to get them absolutely right. They've got to be synced electronically and mechanically before the butterflies and everything work fluid. So he's been working on it for about 3 weeks and finally got it just right. So it's coming out really nice.
Let's see. Here we go. Gas temperature now, y'all. Saints Garage. Racy. What the heck?
You didn't heat the camera, did you?
No. That felt good.
What do you think of that?
That was nice.
That was an easy roll on.
Easy roll on. That was nice. And you can hear the turbo also.
You hear those turbos spool up in your ear, and it really is an impressive feeling. You know?
It is. That was nice. That roll on felt so good. That felt good.
Yeah, it was a pretty interesting car.
Yeah.
When Ferrari they got done with it, and it was like I said, it was a race car. That's the way they built it.
Yeah, no, race car for sure. I agree 100%. 100%. Wow. That felt really good. Like, I don't know. This is faster than the 50. I think.
I believe it.
Yeah.
You know, we've never gone head to head with them, but I believe it probably is. However, that 50, you know, that 50, when you get the long legs on it, in all fairness, that's a longer wheelbase car, and it's got a lot more torque in it, you know, at lower RPMs because of the 12-cylinder. But I have a sunny suspicion that this thing is probably quicker.
Yeah.
You know, you get it up there and probably zero to 150 miles an hour. I think it's a quicker car.
Yeah. Yeah. This just feels like totally different too, though.
It's a brute.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't take any prisoners. You don't go out on warm tires. You disrespect it.
Yeah.
There is no traction control. There is no stability track. There isn't any ABS in it. So when you hit the brakes, they lock up. And you know, it demands your attention, because if not, it'll stick your ass in the wall.
Yeah.
It'll hit you. You'll wind up in a curb, in a fence, or in a tree. The car, it really takes no prisoners. It tells you what it wants. You don't understand what it wants, you better get out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the best part. Wow.
I see that grin on your face.
Wow, that... I don't know what to say.
It kind of speaks its own language.
Yeah.
It tells you, you know, what to say.
Yeah.
And you just, quiet is probably the best thing.
Yeah, facts. Like, it's just...
Yeah, Vince has this thing very well sorted out. It's been long overdue. Since we've owned the car, and it's been about 25 years, it's never been really truly sorted out. We were so busy with our companies and all the other cars in the museum, and we do fundraisers right now. if we just stay status quo, then don't take any more business on, we'll have done 90 events this year. 90. So what you see on our Instagram is only about 2 or 3% of what we actually do. We're having corporate meetings and all kinds of stuff, and weddings and birthday parties and stuff on a regular basis. Like today, when you come back, we're already setting up. We'll have 350 people in the museum this afternoon.
Dang!
Yeah, we've got 9 events before Christmas. And the smallest one is 120. So this is what we do to generate money for kids. You know, and people look at us and we drive these nice cars and everything else, and we need to use them, and because otherwise you lose them.
Facts.
Like we talked about. But here's the interesting thing. With the cars coming out there, it brings attention to the museum. We take the most exotics of what we got out there, and we take them out, and guys like you help us. And basically right now, you know, you're doing charity work, which it helps bring people back to the museum and take a look and see what we got here. It's really a cool deal. By the way, thank you very much. Appreciate the help. Yeah, no ABS?
Yes, we all. You smell the tire smoke from that. Too bad old man Ferrari couldn't live forever.
I tell you what, if Enzo would have lived to see the F50 or 40, yeah, F50, I think he would have really been impressed with how far his team came, or how far this particular car went.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly how far after production Enzo died, but I don't know whether it's before the production or after the production. But I know this is really the last car that he had influence on before he passed away.
Yeah. This thing is amazing. This car is amazing, y'all. Literally straight amazing. Oh man. Just listen to it.
Well, it's a neat car. We just got, by the way, you remember the C6, the 06 we were working on? Mm-hmm. We just got the motor back in it. Okay, you ready for this?
I'm ready for it.
600 at the wheels.
God.
It makes this feel slow.
Really?
Yeah. We just had it out. Right now we're doing a little oil. We're adjusting the oil pressure in the oil pump. But we've got my guys working on it again. But wait till we take a ride in that one.
I'm ready for that one.
That is truly, the car is like driving a go-kart. It is like driving a go-kart. It's got slicks on it. We're running, 345s in the rear, 335s in the front, and it's got some big tires on it, all slicks, and full cage or the roll bar system. And it's that LS7 is it makes, like I said, it'll make 600 at the rear wheels. We had it out. We haven't dynoed it yet, but oh my gosh, that'll be your next shot when you come down here.
Yeah, I'm ready for that.
We should have it sorted out within the next week or so. But
yeah.
That's gives stupid fast a whole new meaning. It's not Tesla fast. Nothing is Tesla fast, but the big picture is, it makes exhaust and it sounds good.
Yeah, I'm ready for that. Oh. So like John said, the Marconi Museum is having an event today, and the F40 goes back inside. What's that? This thing is nice. Ugh. Then you gotta step over. Step.
Oh, I'll just kick him out, man. Ready?
Woo! Dude. Wow. That thing, I love this car. I love this. Like that? I love that 40, dude. It's just riding in it. Guys, you guys got the experience through me riding in it, but when you guys ride in it yourself, is just that thing is just amazing, literally amazing. Like, so John's giving someone a tour right now, but I just wanted to come show you guys this. So when John won the Ferrari championship, one of them, he was able to order this, like just straight custom however he wanted it. They're doing a clutch in there and all this stuff. And you guys know I don't like classic cars. I love the F40 though. Love that car. I don't like classic cars, but this is also clean as well. I really like this yellow. And then like the engine bay looks so clean and like amazing. But he was able to order this custom, so he got F40 seats inside as well. And this is just clean. I'm sorry, but this is clean. I love being able to show you guys this stuff and everything because a lot of you guys understand that knowledge is power. And if you don't understand this and you wonder all this stuff, I want you to understand that knowledge is power, Saint Squad. And the Marconi Museum, they do a lot for kids. They do some of the best stuff. So I want you guys to come down, check it out and all that stuff. Whenever you're in California, Orange County, it is in Tustin. So look out whenever they have like events or any of that stuff and come see all this stuff and support the Marconi Museum because they do a lot and I do really appreciate them at the same time as well. I just want you guys to learn the knowledge, all this stuff. We all love cars and I think it's important to learn everything because when you learn one thing, it can translate to something else. So keep that in mind. If you guys do enjoy these videos, I know a lot of you guys do enjoy John because he one of them ones, of course. And actually listen, one thing I want you guys to do, Saint Squad, is listen and grow. All you have to do is listen. When you hear someone talking, you can learn something from anybody, but just don't take anything from anyone, if that makes sense. When it's someone important, someone that's better than you, not better than you, but where you want to be, make sure you listen, Saint Squad, because there is a lesson everywhere in life. Life teaches you a lot of things and it might be in a way that you won't notice, but you have to pay attention and you'll notice. All it is paying attention and listen. So hope you guys do take the knowledge in. And now I am leaving the Marconi Museum, but big, huge shout out to the Marconi Museum. I don't like classic cars, but the Ferrari F40 might be my favorite Ferrari now because Jesus Christ, that thing was just amazing. Amazing. Huge shout out to the Marconi Museum. Now, the first, little baby got enough money, gotta relax, champ. You know what I'm saying, little baby, relax. But now maybe the first and only Ferrari classic car, only classic car, maybe not my first Ferrari, but Ferrari I would get is an F40. One day, Saint Squad. Now we have another goal. Now we have a classic car goal that we will get is a Ferrari F40 because you guys already know I want a Koenigsegg. That is my hypercar goal, dream. Koenigsegg, but classic, we gotta get F40 now. A lesson I learned from Rich Dad vs. Poor Dad, which is really good, is learn a little about a lot, Saint Squad. And that's why I'm happy I can educate you guys through me. So, yeah. Remember this, learn a little about a lot. If you don't get it, think a little bit harder on it and then you'll understand it. Remember that. We're gonna take that as a lesson of today, learn a little about a lot. And boom, the AMG is back, by the way. We come back from the Marconi Museum and the AMG is back. Well, this is the next day. Make sure you get my hoodie, saintlifestyle.com, cop the new merch, and we got the ski mask as well. But why is the AMG back? I have decided to do this. I have called off the sale of the AMG, Saint Squad. Yes, I have called off the sale of the AMG because I thought, you guys were saying this, but the reason why I haven't done this in a long time was because, well, I felt like it was extremely stressful. But no risk, no reward. So Saint Squad, this is the dealio martilio that is going on right here. I decided to call off the sale of the AMG and let one of you guys be the one to receive the AMG. And what do I mean by that? Not you buy it, but you have a chance to enter to win the AMG, which I think I will start the giveaway maybe next week. Yes, this might be like a huge shock or anything to you guys, which I will explain further more in another video, but I have decided to call off the sale of the AMG. Me and my business partner, we have something else that you guys are going to be excited for, but I have decided to do a full giveaway on the AMG, which you can enter to win, which means you can literally only spend $100 and have a chance to win this, or even if you spend more than 100, that that increases your odds, but you're still winning a one-of-one supercar AMG. You gonna ride around in this, you're not gonna see nobody like it. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody gonna be like you on the road. So you have a chance to spend $100 or more to upgrade your chances to win this thing, this amazing thing, Saint Squad, and it gets to stay in the Saint Squad family, which is the best part and which is what I really wanted at the end of the day. So, are you excited? This giveaway will start next week. I will tell you guys what day I'm thinking of it starting. I'm thinking what, the 16th, Saint Squad? Should we start the AMG giveaway on the 16th? So next Friday, by the time you guys are seeing this video next Friday. Comment down below, let me know. Are you going to enter into the giveaway? Comment down below and let me know. When should it start? Should it start the 16th, that Friday, or should it start that Monday? I don't know. We'll go more in depth on another video. I just have to tell you guys this at the end of the video. So this car will be one of you guys, the Saint Squad, and literally all you spend is $100 to get this car. I mean, how could that go wrong? Because entries will start $100, 5 entries. It'll double the more you spend. I'm just telling you that now. So more, you have a better chance, but just $100. If one of y'all was doing the Saint Squad, I'd give y'all $1,000. No fake. But anyways, hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, go down and smash that like button, then subscribe and turn on post notifications so you don't miss any more bangers, because you already know we only post bangers. So stay tuned for the next video. There is a small issue with the Huracan that we have to go get fixed. So I think you guys should stay tuned for that, because man, it's not the best issue, if we're being honest. So we have to go get that fixed, and hopefully this thing is running right, but you'll see if it is in the next video. Are you guys excited for this thing? That is what I'm doing. Stay tuned for that, and I'm gonna catch you guys in the next video. Peace. Are you gonna enter, by the way? Will you enter? Comment down below, let me know. Now I'm gonna catch you on the next one. Peace.